Not that long ago, I made a video titled Every Huniepop Character Ranked, and not long after, the amazing Honey Dev released the long-anticipated sequel titled Huniepop 2: Double Date. The game introduced new game mechanics such as double dates and baggage, a new exotic island setting, and a bunch of new characters, each with unique personalities. So I played the game, met all the characters, and decided to make a part 2 to that video I made 2 months ago. So here's my Huniepop 2 character ranking. Quick disclaimer though, before we begin, I won't be putting Kiyu anywhere on this list. I know, yell at me all you want, but I chose to only include the characters that you could actually date and do puzzles and talk to. So unfortunately Kiyu's not going to be on here. I'm sorry, but if you unironically like Sarah, I genuinely have no respect for you as a human. Sarah somehow manages to be worse than Momo, who is this annoying-ass lolly cat girl from the first game. Momo is at least an optional character, but Sarah is one that you have to date 4 times in order to beat the game. Sarah is by far one of the most insufferable characters I've seen in literally anything. And I feel so bad for her voice actor as well. They had her saying lines of dialogue such as,
"I only shower once or twice a week. That's enough for me.
oh yeah, she doesn't fucking shower. I'm sorry, but if you're actually into this, then you're absolutely insane. It was bad enough that she has a god-awful personality and that she's a Japanophile, but making her smell like absolute shit is just way too far. Like, I could maybe look past her annoying personality if I tried hard enough, but Sarah not showering is impossible to ignore. There's absolutely no excuse for not showering, and it is fucking disgusting. Now, I'm aware that Moxie and June are 2 different characters, but I decided to merge them both and make them take up just 1 slot since they're both basically the same character. They are both the final bosses of the game. They act the same, sound the same, and their design is honestly the only thing that differentiates them from each other. Aside from their designs being kinda cool, their actual character is just kinda lame. I don't know much about their actual personality because of how little of them is shown, but from what they do show, they just seem like very generic villains. It also feels as if they aren't even in the final battle, as they just pose as the various other characters in the game and don't show their actual form up until the final round. Other than that, I really don't have anything else to say about them since they are only in the game for such a short amount of time. Zoe was very disappointing. At first glance, I assumed she'd be this upbeat and energetic girl with a great personality just based off her design. And boy was I wrong. She has blue hair, blue and red eyes, pretty colorful clothing, several piercings, and even some goggles, so you'd think she'd have a pretty fun personality, but no. Instead, she's just this boring girl with lame voice acting, lame personality, and lame dialogue. Like, the way they designed her does not match up with her personality whatsoever. It's funny too, because she's like one of the only characters with actual plot relevance, but just feels like a background character throughout the game. And they never show her titties. I support trans rights, I really do, and I personally think it's really cool that they added a trans character to the game because it's something some people have probably wanted in Huniepop 2. But to be honest, I don't like penis. Yeah, I confess, I don't like penis in my hentai games. I appreciate that they added an option to either give her an innie or an outie, of course referring to the reproductive organ she'd have. So why the fuck does she have a bulge? I played this game for 3 reasons: the story, the puzzles, and the titties. I don't need to see her bulge, and I specifically remember choosing the innie option, but this clearly is not an innie. I think there should have been 2 variants of that image, one with the penis, one without it. Her bulge isn't even my main issue though. I just don't like Polly's design, voice, personality, outfits, and I just think she's overall a bad character. I have seen a lot of people praising Leilani, so this might be a little bit of an unpopular opinion, but I find her to be a pretty boring character. She's a very nice and kind person, and I can honestly kind of see the appeal and why many people would like her, but she personally just isn't for me. We've already seen a character like Leilani. She's almost exactly like Belly as far as personality goes, but at least Belly had boobies to kind of make up for her boring character. Now, I don't necessarily hate Leilani. She doesn't annoy me in any way or gross me out at all. There just isn't anything interesting about her. There's nothing about her that makes her stand out from any of the other characters. She just feels like a very unneeded character in a sex game. Similarly to what I said about Leilani being the same as Belly, I feel the same way about Lillian but with Audrey. Lillian just feels like a much lesser Audrey. Audrey is very bitchy in a funny way, and Lillian is the same, minus the funny part. At some point I just ended up getting bored of her. Her personality is exactly what you'd expect. She constantly talks about hating her parents and wanting to die, and eventually it just started getting annoying, when that's literally all she ever talks about. The only thing I find interesting about her is how she kinda looks like that one chick from Hotel Transylvania, but other than that, she's just meh. Okay, Lola got a major and a much needed buff in this game. In the first Huniepop she was honestly ass, but in this one she is way more entertaining. Her personality just isn't as boring as it was before. Her outfits in 2 are a lot better than they were in the first one. Talking to her now is a lot less boring and a bit more enjoyable than before. Although she did get a buff, she's still not super great. She went from being one of my least favorite characters in the series to just being a mid character, which isn't really that bad. I still hate her afro though. Nora is a character I'm kinda mixed on. I think she's a really fun, chill character with a cool personality, but I'm not really feeling her voice acting. I just think that the accent is a little too much and is sometimes just kind of annoying to listen to. Other than that, she's pretty cool. She works at a hotel for a living and sells drugs as a side job, which is pretty respectable for a career choice. She's also a very caring aunt. Can you guess who his younger cousin is? That's right, it's fucking Philip, making his triumphant return. Yeah, Kiana and Nora are related. Anyways, Nora is a pretty cool character. I don't think she's that great or anything, but she's still pretty good. Avia is this shy girl from somewhere in the Middle East. She's this very innocent and no, she's fucking horny. Yeah, Avia is like really fucking horny. Yeah, she works as an airport security guard, and yeah, she sexually harasses people while on the job, but that's okay because no one seems to care. She's a porn addict, and she's probably seen every single porno in existence. Her personality is hilarious. She's just horny all the time, and it works really well in this game. The horniness fits really well with this game about having sex to save the world. She's just really good. I'll admit, there are a lot of reasons to hate Brooke. She's a gold digger, she has countless plastic surgeries, and she's 40 years old, but I don't really care. She does not look 40 years old, which is definitely because of all the plastic surgery, but does anyone really care if a fictional girl has fake titties? No. And despite her being a gold digger, she's actually a pretty hard worker. I mean, she owns the hotel and resort the game takes place at, I think. She has a pretty cool sense of humor, which kinda reminds me of Aiko's, who was my favorite character in the first game. She's also related to Audrey, who was my number 4 on my last Huniepop ranking, so I guess they have that in common as well. Just like Lola, Jessie is another returning character, and I'm really glad they picked her to be in the second game. Jessie underwent quite a few changes. She no longer prefers sexuality and would rather take romance, and her boob size increased from double D's to a G size. However, the biggest change would probably be in her personality. She's very depressed now and has even become an alcoholic, and the reason for this is because of how she just feels old and regrets a lot of her life choices, and also how much worse her relationship with her daughter Tiffany has gotten since the last game. Stuff like that just adds more depth to her character, and I really like that. She still has some of the dirty humor she had, and sometimes acts the same as she did in the first game, which I really like because I wouldn't want her to change completely. So yeah, Jessie's pretty cool. Candice is a fucking idiot, and honestly I'm totally fine with it because it's funny. She wears little to no clothing, has pink hair, and speaks in a southern accent. Her IQ is nearly as low as the average Danganronpa fan. Here are some other cool facts about Candice. Candice works at a strip club, Candice has gotten pregnant at least 3 times, and Candice has a cocaine addiction and buys coke from Nora. Oh yeah, her name is a reference to the mobile game known as Candy Crush, which is pretty cool. I just find her to be a pretty fun and enjoyable character, and yeah, she's also pretty hot. Ashley is my favorite Huniepop 2 character. When you first start Huniepop 2, she is the first person you see. Ashley is Lillian's cousin by marriage. She's a very chill and laid-back character with a pretty good sense of humor, which is one of the reasons why I like her so much. She doesn't have a super boring or ridiculous personality as a lot of the characters do. Some of the girls such as Sarah have personalities that are just too much, and there are the boring ones such as Zoe, but Ashley is just a pretty normal person and still manages to be very interesting. She models and she plays in a band, which are pretty cool jobs to have. Ashley is a very good character, and she's definitely my favorite out of all the Huniepop 2 characters.